Welcome to the module on Sociological education. This is a simple introduction to sociological theories. Do not open the unit before you have gone through this video. It is meant to give you a simple introduction to sociological theories and probably dispel a few beliefs that you held about theories. You have heard about theories, but are you sure you understand what are theories and how do we use them? Do not try to learn anything by heart, just listen and you will understand. In this video, I will help you understand the diverse ways of thinking about society, distinguish between common sense theory and sociological theories, briefly explain different sociological theories, and apply the different theories to explain issues in education. Let me start by asking you a few questions. Is there one single way of understanding? What is common sense and how does it influence our thinking and explanation of events? Can I understand and use theory? Do only very intelligent people operate with theories? There are also other questions that you should ask yourself. We'll come back to these questions at the end of this presentation. Is there a single way of understanding? Let us take a few statements that you will immediately recognize where we cannot have a single explanation for anything or agreement on everything. For instance, Liverpool is the greatest football team in England. Obviously, the Man U fans will reject this statement outright. USA is the greatest country in the world. Americans may believe in it, but probably not all of them. Poor people have themselves to blame. Can we blame the poor? School is fair and equal. Well, many of us will not accept. The media is objective. This is what they make you believe, but it is a very controversial statement. Teachers are always concerned with the greater good of children. Well, not everyone will share this view. Do we all agree on these statements? Obviously, the answer is no. To understand theory, you should understand how explanations are generated. You're all aware that there are often multiple explanations for the events that take place in society. Many people hold different views. Which explanation is right? And where do these explanations come from? We all hold beliefs about society, and our beliefs help us to develop an explanation for ourselves. People hold diverse beliefs and therefore have diverse explanations for the same event. Thus, belief 1 leads to explanation 1, belief 2 to explanation 2, and so on. In the same way, our beliefs about society is often formed by our own set of values and beliefs. But here, you should understand what shapes your beliefs. You should keep in mind that each one of us is influenced by the positions we hold as belonging to a particular social class, gender, or ethnic group, or even our age. However, we are often influenced by knowledge of a few people or group we encounter. Obviously, we do not know everybody or all instances, yet we form an opinion. This is what we refer to as the common sense theory. It is not exactly a theory, but the belief we hold based on often unverified knowledge. That is why we call it common sense theory. In short, we are referring to the common sense theory which is based on some unverified beliefs we hold that make up our understanding and which help us provide a tentative explanation. The next question is, What about sociological understanding and sociological theories? How are they different? Or why do we consider them as better explanations of the facts of society? There are many different explanations provided by sociologists. In sociology, too, there are agreements and disagreements. But unlike most people, sociologists look at different evidences depending on which aspect of the problem they wish to investigate. They use carefully designed tools for gathering information. They investigate a number of events and people before reaching a conclusion. They verify the information before stating an opinion. You might ask, whose explanation is better or right? You should understand that each one of them is right, based on the evidence they gather from the field. There are obviously diverse ways of analyzing an issue or a problem. Let us look at 4 different explanations by sociologists. Some sociologists argue that education is an important institution. It performs the essential functions of socialization, empowering the labor force for the economy, and provides people with the opportunity to attain higher positions in society. Obviously, this is a positive view of the role of education. Another sociological explanation might be that education benefits a few, those who have the support of the family and the means to obtain admission to the best schools. Not everyone benefits equally. The dominant classes from the privileged categories get the most out of education. The schools and the curriculum favor those privileged few. This is another view, which is equally true, but very different from the previous one. Some sociologists may be interested in yet another aspect of education. They may argue that education has been provided to women, yet they are taught to accept a subordinate position. Though they achieve success, it does not necessarily assure them of high position in society as adults. A 4th sociological explanation might be looking at teachers. They might show how teachers favor a few. They prefer those from the middle and higher classes. They tend to label those from less privileged homes as lacking motivation. The attitudes of teachers act as a deterrent to a few who accept such label and give up in their studies. It is another aspect of education and schools different from the first view, where we highlighted the positive aspects of education. We saw 4 different views on education. Who is right? Obviously, each one of them is looking at a different aspect of education and may not agree with each other. There may not be a consensus on their views, yet they use evidence to support their opinions. View 1 was a positive view, the contribution of education for society. The sociologists looked at the functions of education, its contribution to society, and how society benefits with education. This is called a functionalist view. It looks at the positive functions of education. It is also called the consensus approach. The second view suggested that not everyone benefits. For them, education and other institutions too benefit a few dominant groups. Therefore, they argue that schools do not serve everyone equally. When we look at how some people from the dominant group benefits, we are taking a Marxist view, which is also called a conflict approach because it highlights the conflict between people belonging to different social classes. The third view looked at education of women, how women are conditioned to accept a subordinate position even when they are high achievers. It argues that education tends to have more benefits for men rather than women. This is a feminist view.
The fourth view
Looked at the teachers' attitudes and how teachers can make a difference. Teachers might make children develop a negative self-image. It happens in the way the teachers and students interact with each other. We call this the interpretive view because it has to do with the processes of interaction and interpretation of different actors which affect our behavior. We briefly looked at 4 different views which will form part of the major theoretical orientation we'll use in this course. The functionalist, which you must have guessed, emphasize consensus and are held by people who side with capitalism. The Marxist view looked at the ways in which a few dominant groups benefit from schooling. They tend to highlight conflict between the classes, and they have also been termed as a conflict view. The feminist view looked at society from the point of view of gender differences and particularly how institutions benefit men. However, there can be male feminists as well, those who look at gender issues and point out to the discrimination suffered particularly by women. The interpretive view looks at how people interpret each other's action and how that influences human behavior. We are all in the process of interpreting each other's behavior and actions. So we had 4 views emanating from 4 different theories: functionalist, Marxist, feminist, and interpretive. While you study sociology, you should also understand what is the aim of sociology as a social science. You must have guessed that sociologists hold diverse opinions derived from different assumptions that they hold about society. At the most, each sociologist can study a problem, seek evidence to support their arguments, collect data to back up their conclusions. In short, sociologists are interested in explaining human behavior. Yet, there is no one right answer. There are many ways of understanding. What is more important is that we should understand how different people from different contexts interpret and view society. And we should keep an open mind and not take side, as there are multiple ways of understanding. The question, is there one single way of understanding? By now, you should understand that the answer is no. Functionalist, Marxist, feminist, and interpretive sociologists look at the same problem but have different viewpoints. Each one of them is right to some extent, and we can question each one of them using a different viewpoint. What is common sense? And how does it influence our thinking and explanations of events? Common sense is often derived from unverified information, knowledge that we have gathered from people around us, which are likely to be biased at times and not necessarily based on careful research. But when we are doing a scientific study, we should look for knowledge that has been tested and verified. Can I understand what is theory and use it? Obviously, yes. Though it might need some reading and understanding of a diversity of viewpoints, but certainly you can. Do only very intelligent people operate with theories? Oh no, not at all. Now you know about different ways of understanding. Try and see how you could apply them in other areas of social life you encounter and in the day-to-day of your professional life. This course will help you get a better understanding of a number of theories and their application. It will help you develop a scientific understanding of society and more particularly of education, your profession, as well as people you encounter. I hope by now you have a better indication of what is a sociological theory. It is a general account of human behavior derived from careful understanding of human society. It provides the framework for understanding and analysis. It is generally acceptable as one of the multiple ways of viewing society. It is not a hard and fast view, but it holds true under certain conditions. It holds true as long as it is not falsified. You should be aware that all sciences, whether social or natural, are tentative explanations based on evidence we have today. We might have to review our understanding as new evidences and information crop up. Your ways of understanding will depend on which theory or ways of understanding you are plugged into. You could be a functionalist, a Marxist, a feminist, or an interpretivist. The choice is yours. Thank you very much for your attention. We'll come back later with more explanation. I just wish to remind you that the pictures used in this presentation are from opensourceupslash.com, freeimages.com, and pexels.com. That's all for today. From me, it's goodbye and see you soon.